Hello, are you ready to learn for today? Today we will be learning about illustrating quadratic inequality. So ano ba yung pumapasok sa isip mo pag narinig mo yung salitang inequality? Parehas ba tayong nasa isip na naaalala itong mga symbols na to? Yes, those are inequality symbols. So we have greater than or equal, and less than or equal. So, paano kaya natin i-relate yung lesson dati natin na quadratic equation dito sa lesson natin quadratic inequality? So, for today, we'll be knowing how to identify, define, and illustrate this quadratic inequality. So, as we start, let's try to have an activity. So, which among this following given algebraic expression can be classified as a quadratic equation? So, sige, bigyan kita ng 3 seconds para i-pause yung video tapos try mo ilipat dito sa left side ng ng notebook mo yung itong mga quadratic equation. Then, lagay mo dito sa right side yung mga hindi. Sige, 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. I hope with that 3 seconds na-pause mo ang video at na-try mo man lang itong activity na to. So, tama kaya yung naging sagot mo? Tignan natin. Ito ngayon yung ating mga quadratic equation. Ayan. So, how do we classify them as a quadratic equation? So, let's discuss it as we recall it later. But for now, pag-ibahin natin sila at sabihin ko na itong nasa right side ng ating screen is what we call the quadratic inequality. So, as we recall the idea about quadratic equation, we also have to define the idea about a quadratic inequality. So first, by observation, we define a quadratic equation as an equation having the highest degree of 2. Pero kung titignan natin, parehas sila ng quadratic inequality na merong highest degree of the exponent which is 2. Yes, because they are both quadratic. Kaya ganun yung idea nila. They are both containing a polynomial of degree 2. Next. So, dito makikita natin in a quadratic equation, since it says equation, syempre may presence ng equal sign. And as you can see, on the quadratic inequality, instead of an equal sign, there's a presence of the inequality symbols. Yun yung pagkakaiba nila. In a quadratic inequality, they are all containing an inequality symbol. So, as we furtherly study about the lesson about quadratic inequality, mapapansin nyo or makita ninyo kung ano yung importance or mas pagkakaiba nito sa isang quadratic equation. So let's try to generalize the idea of quadratic inequality now. So a quadratic inequality is an equality that contains a polynomial of degree 2, sabi nga kanina, and then it can also be written in any of these forms. So kumbaga, ito yung itsura ng standard form or different standard form of a quadratic inequality. Siyempre, meron tayong iba't ibang inequality symbols, so magiging iba-iba rin yung itsura ng ating standard form. So we can use greater than, less than, greater than or equal, and less than or equal. But as you can see, this is exactly or somehow the same as our quadratic equations standard form. Ang pagkakaiba lang, ang gamit natin instead of equal sign are the different inequality symbols. So, the same as a quadratic equation, a, b, and c are all real numbers and a should not also be equal to 0. So, di ba, diniscuss natin before kung bakit hindi siya pwede maging 0. That is because mawawala yung ating quadratic term. Next. And as you can see, one of the big difference between an equation and an inequality is that the presence of these inequality symbols. So a quadratic inequality makes use of these inequality symbols such as greater than, less than, greater than or equal, and less than or equal. Let's have some example as we classify a quadratic inequality. So to illustrate them, we have some examples here. So it says, which of the following is a quadratic inequality? So, hindi kasi ibig sabihin na nakakita na tayo ng or nakita natin sa given na mayroon siyang highest exponent of 2 and there's a presence of inequality symbols. We can directly say that this one is a quadratic inequality. So we have to transform it to the standard form or the different standard form of a quadratic inequality para mas ma-identify natin sila kung sila ba talaga ay quadratic inequality or not. So let's start with example number 1. So we have the given x squared plus 2x is less than or equal to 9. So parang ang idea dito is para maging 0 pa rin yung nandun sa right side ng ating given inequality. So gagawin natin, lipat natin si 9 dun sa left side. So we will be having or add negative 9 for both sides para malipat siya sa left side of the given inequality. Therefore, we can have this one as 0 kasi 9 plus negative 9 is 0. Our equation, our inequality now will be equal to x squared plus 2x. So, since hindi sila similar, 2x tsaka negative 9, so we cannot combine them. So, ang gagawin natin, pagsasamahin na lang natin sila dito sa ating inequality yan. So, copy na lang natin sila parehas. So, we have x squared plus 2x minus 9 is less than or equal to 0. Yan. So, mas mukha na siyang standard form ng ating quadratic inequality. And as you notice, we have the highest degree of the exponent, which is 2, and we have the presence of the inequality symbol. Therefore, this example number 1 is is a quadratic inequality. Gets po? Next, let's go to example number 2. So, kung titignan nyo, wala namang 2 na highest exponent or highest degree of this polynomial. Pero, titingnan natin kung makakakuha tayo nun para maging quadratic siya. So, to furtherly simplify this one, we have to use FOIL. Yan, di ba? X times 5x, so we'll be having 5x squared. Then x times 7, so we will be having plus 7x. Then negative 5 times 5x, so we will be having negative 25x. Then negative 5 times 7, so we will be having negative 35. Then let's copy greater than 7. So from this, pwede pa natin siyang masimplify by combining 7x or positive 7x minus 25x. So pag kinumbine natin yan, we will be having negative 18x. Then copy lang natin yung mga natira sa left and right side. So we have 5x squared on this side and then copy minus 35 then greater than 7. So kailangan 0 yung dito sa right side. So ano yung pwede nating gawin? So we can subtract 7 for both sides. Yan, para matanggal natin yung 7 doon at maging 0 siya. So we can have now this one will be equal to 0. Therefore, our inequality will be 5x squared minus 18x. So, negative 35 plus negative 7 will be having negative 42 is greater than 0. Yan, standard form na siya. The same time, you will see the highest degree will be equal to 2 and there's a presence of an inequality symbol. Therefore, this given is a quadratic inequality as well. Yan. So, gets po? Let's proceed on example number 3. So, kung titignan mo dito, ay sasagot ko agad dito. Quadratic inequality kasi meron, no? Highest degree of the polynomial is 2. And then, meron tayong inequality symbol. Pero tignan muna natin. So, first way to simplify this one is to distribute 7 to the quantity x squared plus 5x. So, 7 times x squared. So, we'll be having 7x squared. Then, 7 times 5x. So, we will be having plus 35x. So, from there, kokopy na lang natin yung iba. So, copy natin tong 7x squared minus 15. Then, let's copy the inequality greater than. Then, after that, so, kailangan, di ba, maging 0 yung nasa right side ng inequality. Then, we have to transfer it on the left side. So, Ang gagamitin natin once again is addition property of equality. So, to remove 7x squared, we have to add a negative 7x squared. Here, we also have to add a negative 35 kasi positive yun. Diba? Ganyan yung ginagawa natin. Then, ganun din dapat sa left side. Minus 7x squared, then also minus 35x. Yan. Then, let's add them. So, simplify natin sila. If we simplify, this one will be equal to 0. Ito, 0. Then, 35 plus negative 35, x. So, both of them will be equal to 0. Then, suddenly, 7x squared minus or plus negative 7x squared will also be equal to 0. Therefore, our resulting inequality now will be equal to, since hindi natin pwedeng i-combine si negative 15 at negative 35x dahil hindi naman sila similar, we can just copy both of them. So, making it negative 35x, yan, minus 15 is greater than 0. So, as you can see, wala namang exponent na nakasulat dito kay x or variable x. That means the exponent will be equal to 1. Although this inequality symbol exists, this is not a quadratic inequality because ang highest degree lang natin ay 1. Now, it's time for you to do some exercises. So, for example, we have this 5 given exercises. So, you try. Tell whether the following is a quadratic inequality or not. So, if it is a quadratic inequality, you have to write QI. If it is not, you have to write NQI. Gets po? So, 5 seconds to pause the video. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause na po. Okay, so here are the answers. Yan. So, letter A, C, D, and E are all quadratic inequality except letter B. So, kapag sinimplify nyo sila para maging itsura ay standard form ng quadratic inequality, ito yung mga magiging itsura nila. I hope you understand the lesson for today. Until next time, bye!
Ang galing! Ang galing!